G'day guys, so Prawnot here with another video. Today I'll be discussing keeping fish and shrimp together once again, but this time it's about the ones you don't want to keep with your shrimp. Whether they will eat your shrimp or don't live in the same conditions or environment as your shrimp, these fish and other creatures will cause some troubles for your shrimp. So without further ado, I'll just jump into the video. If you haven't seen my previous video about fish you can keep with shrimp, definitely check that out. It's pretty good in my opinion, even though I did make it. But yeah, it's very handy if you want to know what you can keep or what you should keep with your shrimp. So here we go. Coming in at number 10 are Mollies and Swordtail fish. The reason I put them down on number 10 and not further up is because they're very similar to guppies, and I did say guppies are okay, and guppies are okay to have with shrimp. The problem with mollies and swordtails are they get bigger. They get about 4 inches, and that's a problem because the bigger they are, the bigger their mouths are, and the bigger shrimp they can eat. So instead of losing a few babies here and there, you start losing juveniles and maybe even adults. So that will cull your shrimp population back and can be problematic. It is still possible to keep shrimp with these fish, obviously. You can put heaps of cover in and, the shrimp will survive, but it wouldn't be, the best case scenario. So that's why they're coming in at 10. Coming in at number 9 is the angelfish. They're very big, fancy cichlid fish, and pretty much, anything that's big and fancy will probably eat smaller things. They tend to float around and pick at random things. I've seen them eat even baby fish, so sure enough they eat baby shrimp as well. They wouldn't eat adult shrimp, but they would probably, peck at baby shrimp quite a lot. That's just what they would do. They'll, bob around and do that. They are a good community tank fish though. They are really nice looking, get all kinds of different ones. Just be careful to keep them with, live bearers, because as I said, they do eat baby shrimp. Fish as well, shrimp fish, So yeah, that's angelfish coming in at 9. So coming in at number 8 is actually a reptile. It's a turtle. So you get freshwater turtles and you have your big tank. And you might be thinking to yourself, you want to, get some tankmates or some little guys in there. And I would say don't do that. Much like big fish, turtles will eat most things in the tank. And they do eat, fish. They get feeder fish and they'll eat those. So, there's feeder shrimp as well. So it kind of makes sense that they would eat your cherry shrimp and your freshwater shrimp as well as, whatever you're feeding them. The other problem with them being in the same tank is turtles make a lot of waste, and the shrimp do not handle change very well in the water quality. So if daily your turtles going to the toilet and really mucking up that water, you have shrimp deaths even if you got past the fact that the turtle was going to eat them. So yeah, definitely do not keep a turtle with your shrimp. Maybe baby turtles, I don't know, haven't tried that myself, but what's the point if you're going to keep a turtle with your shrimp, unless you do want the turtle just eating the shrimp anyway. So number 7 is also not a fish, it's the axolotl. It's actually an amphibian. The reason for not an axolotl is very similar to the turtle. They're much bigger. They will eat pretty much anything. They eat like the bloodworm cubes and things like that, and usually if something eats, large bloodworm, especially like chunky kind of foods, they'll happily munch down a fish or a shrimp. So similar things to the turtle. So yeah, I'm not really going to go into that much. Axolotls on their own, very cool, very fancy. I'm thinking about getting one myself. I'm thinking about getting a lot of these things on my list, but space and whatnot's kind of an issue. So yeah, that's the axolotl for number 7. So coming in at number 6 are pests. Obviously these aren't something that you want in your tank. I'm talking about Planaria and Hydra pests. So if you don't know about them, Planaria are little worms with triangular sort of heads, and they have these two little dots on their top of the head, which are like eyes, and they go around and they kill your shrimp. They will eat your shrimp alive, I'm fairly sure. It's said that they prey on weaker ones, but I'm sure if they can get a, jump onto one of your shrimp, they will happily just gnaw on it. So yeah, they're quite creepy. I'm not a fan of worms like that. I had just like a little white worm in my tank, and I thought it was going to kill all my fish, but it was just a normal little white worm, that you get. There are little bugs that are good for your tank, like the cyclops and things like that, like small crustaceans. So don't go, nuking anything you see in your tank and killing them off. Research them, try and work out what it is. Hydra is similar to Planaria in the way that they will kill a shrimp. They're related to like jellyfish and stuff, and they, hit the shrimp with like toxins, and then the shrimp will die. And I think they eat them as well. So instead of obviously living in the ocean, they live in the tank and they sit there. They're called Hydra because they have like the 9 heads, like the mythical beast. And they also, repopulate. I think from if you like squish it or something, there'll be more of them. So yeah, they're kind of creepy as well as like the Planaria. So if you do see any of these in your tank, be sure to kill them off. There's a tablet you can get, which is Planaria Away or something like that. I'll put a photo up. Or No Planaria. I think it's No Planaria. But yeah, you get that in, you put it in. It will kill snails if you have snails in your tank, so just be wary. But yeah, just be wary of pests. So we're halfway there, and number 5 is goldfish. People, get goldfish. They're very common. Cold water, pretty easy to care for. You put them in a little tank and they grow up a bit, and you get a bigger tank. Most people just get rid of them or they die. Very mistreated fish. And people might go, oh, I see shrimp at the shop. I want to get some shrimp with my goldfish, and go to put them in, and gulp, they're gone. Goldfish will just gulp up little shrimp willy-nilly. Pretty much any size of goldfish will. Obviously, smaller ones will have a hard time eating adult shrimp, but it would happen. Also, their temperatures are a bit off. You can keep shrimp in colder water, but it's not recommended. It's a bit easier, I think, just to keep them in like a 22 or 24 degree kind of water. So obviously a goldfish won't be happy in that. So yeah, just be wary if you're going to get goldfish and shrimp. Yeah, they will eat them. Number 4 is the gourami. Now there are like so many different types of gouramis. There's dwarf, there's normal size, and there's giant gouramis. I'm going to say don't keep shrimp with any of them, but there are dwarf gouramis which would obviously have a better success rate, and I think the largest ones might not even bother with the shrimp. Don't quote me on that, and don't take that and go, oh, I'm going to throw my shrimp in there. I'm sure if they saw them floating around, they would gulp them down. So the more medium-sized ones, the standard gourami size, like the 3-spot gourami, those would definitely eat the shrimp like snacks. When I had dwarf gouramis, I did see them chasing the shrimp. I had shrimp in there. I put like 6 in to see how they would go. They would chase them around and try and eat them, but the shrimp would get out the way. But I had a lot of cover. So yeah, if you do want to try it with dwarf. Honey gouramis might be a good one to try with it. They're really small and pretty chill, I guess, in a way. But yeah, be careful. They have got the tendency to just, munch on little things like that. I have seen them eat baby shrimp, so yeah, be very careful. Coming in at number 3 is the Oscar fish. Oscar fish are pretty common. They're large, or they get large, predatory fish, and you only really want to keep it on its own or with other large fish. They'll eat smaller fish, shrimp, like this video is about. I don't know if they would eat baby shrimp that are just on the floor, but they would eat adults if, the adults are swimming around. Like with the turtle, they're also very dirty and they produce a lot of waste. So usually you'd have a really strong filter on it, but you know, if you have a strong filter, you might not be able to make that shrimp safe filter. So yeah, be careful. I wouldn't recommend an Oscar with shrimp. Even if you have a small baby one, the baby ones are probably more likely to eat the shrimp because they're smaller and they can, you know, chase and see the shrimp a bit easier. These, yeah, they would eat them happily, you know, as a little snack. So I wouldn't recommend keeping them with Oscars at all. It would be interesting to see how they go with a big one. I'm sure they would eat it, but, you know, I don't want to go buy an Oscar just to test that, and I don't want to be feeding my live shrimp to them. But yeah, they're big fish, so yeah, not safe for the shrimp. Coming in at number 2 are the African cichlids. These fish will eat shrimp like no tomorrow. They, you know, thrive on shrimp. If you throw in bloodworms or, you know, shrimp-like things, they will just munch them down like crazy. So definitely do not keep African cichlids with your shrimp or shrimp with your African cichlids. They're like, kind of like faster baby Oscars, I guess. That's how I'll describe them. So they'll just go around munching down whatever they can. I don't know if bigger shrimp might cause them problems. You know, they might not be able to get the bigger shrimp. But yeah, I wouldn't risk it. Once again, it's not, you know, something plausible. I feel like as soon as you go to put the shrimp in, they would swarm up to the top and just munch them down. Or if you put the fish in, they would go down to the bottom and just, yeah, munch along. African cichlids are probably best kept alone or with similar fish. They're very territorial anyway, so yeah, don't put your shrimp in with those guys. Yeah, number 1 is the Betta fish. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh, Betta fish, they're not that bad, you know, they're not as aggressive, I guess, or they are sort of aggressive as like African cichlids and Oscars. But, you know, they're small, like they're not going to gulp down all your shrimp. And I kind of beg to differ, but I also agree with that statement. I put them at number 1 because they're a bit hit and miss. So, you know, if I put an Oscar at number 1, kind of obvious. But the Betta fish, I feel like they have a kind of personality to how they react to things in their tank. I've seen 2 males be kept together before, and just because of their temperament. Things like that are kind of unique, I guess, in a way. It depends on the fish. I know with my fish Simba, he will attack everything in his tank. I put a neon tetra in there to see how they would go, and he just was harassing it for ages. I put all the neon tetras in there to see how they would go, and he was just chasing them around, like singling them out constantly. I also tried putting shrimp in there, and he attacked them straight away, chased them around, so I took them out. So yeah, it really does depend on your fish, because I know people that have shrimp with the Betta, and it's fine. So yeah, it's hit and miss. Test it out, try it out. But if it's not going to go well, don't force it. I'm sure they'll stress out the shrimp to death, or they'll, you know, eat the shrimp. Adults would be fine, but the problem is the Betta sees something moving and goes to investigate. And then that's when the whole kind of chase happens. But yeah, you can, you know, put heaps of cover in there. Like I always say, lots of cover is gonna always be handy. But I wouldn't risk it myself ever again after my tests. So yeah, don't go, you know, buy a Betta fish and buy a shrimp. The problem with the Betta fish and shrimp is pet shops will say, you know, oh, you can put shrimp in with your Betta fish in this, you know, 2-gallon tank and it's fine or whatever. But really it's not. It's just really silly how the Betta fish are treated and how shrimp are treated, really. So yeah, if you're going to buy a Betta fish, buy a decent sized tank and research about them. They're like any other fish. They don't want to be stuck in a cup-sized tank, you know. So that's about it for my video. Thank you for watching. If you've got this far, really appreciate it. It's really great. I'm still going to be doing that competition I talked about, or that giveaway that I talked about when I hit 100 subscribers. I've got the pump and the net that I got, and I'm still working on a 3rd prize. I might do 2 nets as prizes, but I'm still not exactly sure. But I'm really excited for it. I'm really keen to, give back to my viewers. The support's great. I've been getting some awesome comments lately, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any comments below, if you don't agree or you have something to say, please say, or if you've got questions, I love a comment. I love to discuss things. And yeah, I hope you check out my other video as well. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.